The Betsy Ross Flag, known as the earliest version of the Stars and Stripes, the flag features 13 stripes in the same pattern as the Grand Union flag. But instead of the British Union Jack in the top left-hand corner, it'll feature a blue field of 13 stars in a circle pattern. The flag is believed to have been created by famous seamstress Betsy Ross, but the question will still remain, did Betsy Ross actually create this flag? In today's video, we'll be discussing that. Before we get into it, I know there are some people who will say Betsy Ross did not create this first flag, but instead Francis Hopkinson created this flag. Unfortunately, this is also false. Yes, Francis Hopkinson did design a version of the American flag. It would not be this flag though. His design will feature 6-pointed stars instead of the 5-pointed stars we have today. Now that does not mean Betsy Ross is the true creator, because there's not enough historical evidence stating whether or not she did create this flag. All we have to go by is what her grandson William Canby would say, who will make her story public in the year 1870. He said that his grandmother will tell her children and grandchildren about the time that George Washington would come to her with a new flag design, and would ask her if she could make this flag. In my opinion, I believe that she did make this flag, because the evidence is clear enough. George Washington did come to her with a new flag design and would ask her if she could make this. And I'll explain it in today's video. So without further ado, let's get started. The story will begin in late May of the year 1776, when a seamstress named Betsy Ross would receive a visit from 3 members of a top-secret committee of the Continental Congress. These members would include General George Washington, Robert Morris, and Colonel George Ross. We all know that George Washington is the head of the Continental Army. Robert Morris is one of the wealthiest members of the colonies at that time period. And Colonel George Ross, he's the uncle of Betsy Ross's late husband, John Ross, who served in the Pennsylvania militia and was unfortunately killed while he was guarding a supply depot. Naturally, Betsy Ross knew George Ross because she had married his nephew. She was also well acquainted with George Washington because they both attended the same church, known as Christ Church at that time. The pew that George and Martha Washington always sat in was right next to the same pew that Betsy Ross and her husband would sit in usually. So naturally, they knew each other quite well. George Washington was also a regular for the Ross's upholstery company. She would embroider ruffles for Washington's shirt bottoms, along with his cuffs too. So when it came time for this flag to be made, George Washington thought the person that should make this flag should be Betsy Ross. During this meeting, George Washington would give Betsy Ross a rough sketch of what this flag should look like. Washington would tell her that the stars should have 6 points and should be in a circle pattern, so that way the states could not say that they are above the other. Betsy Ross would say that a 5-pointed star could be done more easily, and with Betsy Ross being a standout with scissors, she proceeded to show them how she can cut out a 5-pointed star in just one snip. After watching Betsy Ross cut out the star, Washington and the others was fully convinced, and Betsy Ross would begin to create this flag. Betsy Ross would finish this flag in early June of 1776. Now, if you're wondering what the reason is for this flag being made, it's because of the first flag, the Grand Union flag. That flag started causing a lot of confusion because of it having the British Union Jack in the top left-hand corner. Loyalists began to wonder if the Patriots were going to surrender, but unfortunately that would not be the case. So Washington would go to Betsy Ross, and Betsy Ross would begin to make this flag. June 14, 1777, Congress would pass a flag resolution known as the Flag Act of 1777. This would officially authorize the Stars and Stripes to become our nation's colors. As the years would pass by, the Stars and Stripes would receive an upgrade as more states would be admitted into the Union. Each time a state is admitted, a star will be added to the flag. And that's how we got today's flag with 50 stars and 13 stripes. And that is the story of how the Stars and Stripes came to be. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'll see y'all in the next one.